Hello, this is just a short video. One of my viewers saw I looked at something and he had the same frog I had, and he wanted me to show the video of the frog. It's going to help me fix the mouth movement on him. He wanted to see a video of the frog, so this is just a short video. It's not one of my RG things. This is just to show somebody that's going to show me how to fix this little froggy. Well, here's how he works right now. Oh, sometimes I have a problem getting him to stop. So, come on, Buggy. I'd like to thank the God who wrote the song that made my baby fall in love with me. Who put the bump in the bump, the bump, the bump? Who put the ram in the ram and lemma ding dong? Who put the bump in the bump, shabump, shabump? Who put the dip in the dip, the dip, the dip? Who was that man? I like to shake his hand. He made my baby fall in love with me. Okay. I had to show you the frog. There's a friend on YouTube that's going to show me how to fix the mouth movement. This was a video I made for him. And I see one of my, oh, hi, you're there. Hi, how you doing? It's snapped. Oh, okay. So how do I fix the mechanism? I don't want to mess up any of the wire working in here. Is there a way, or should I just leave it? I see you. Mo's videos. Okay, that's my friend. You might have to take off the fur. Okay, the thing is that the eyes are attached, and I don't want to rip it. Should I open up the seam all the way in the back, and then just resew it? Okay, I'll do that then. And when I do that, I just have to fix the. Could it be a gear or? Oh, oh, hi, how you doing? There's a friend of mine on YouTube that wanted me to show this toy to fix it, Daniel. He's trying to show me how to fix the mouth movement because it don't work. It's a singing frog. I'd like to thank the God who wrote the song that made my baby fall in love. It does still have it. It still has its I don't think it snaps. It's just that it's not moving. Boop, boop, boop. I'm just being funny. I mean, a froggy, you get it? Ribbit, ribbit. Like my froggy movie, to get it? With the astronauts, the froggies. When I saw this toy, it reminded me of Red Hot, the frog in my cartoon. Froggy 2000. It was cute. I fell in love with it. Cool Cat Production. Hi, how you doing? How's Billy Bob? Billy Bob is doing good. He's bobbing along. I gotta work on that large Billy Bob doll eventually. As soon as I get some money to buy some motors and parts and find some stuff I'm looking for in the garage, I'll probably start working on it. Matter of fact, I'll probably, when I start working on it, I'll be doing a video on making that thing from how I made it. Because I'll be doing it step by step from scratch to show you how it's made. The only thing I can't show you is how I made the sculpturing. But I did make the face first out of clay, and then I put a plaster mold and I poured the rubber in it. Just like the way Aaron makes his. So that's the only part that I can't redo, but I can show you how the mechanisms and all the working is, because I'm going to be rebuilding it from inside out. So once I start getting that all together, I'll give you a heads up when I'm ready, and I'll show you how to build a life-size Billy Bob. It's not a nomadic one. It's going to be like where my Apollo 13 astronaut dolls were made. When I showed you the one inside, they're going to be like electric motors. I think I'm going to connect all electric motors in this. I can run it through the system that runs the big Apollo 13 dolls, so I can have Billy Bob sing along with them. So I can play them all together in the same show. Because when I do the servos, I need a computer, they need a servo controller, they need I want to be able to control everything all at the same time, but that, it's too confusing the other way. Let's see. Do you have gears? Do I have gears? My friend's telling me, do I have gears? I have some gears from other toys, but I gotta go dig them all out. What size gear do I need? Do you think that I need to make the mount move? Those little tiny 9 teak gears? I could probably buy those in Robot Shop, right? Do they sell those in Robot Shop? Maybe small or medium. Or maybe small or medium. Oh, okay. It's just a gear that had connected the motor then, huh? I know the way they make things today. They don't make these toys, I guess, to last. They use recycled plastic. Since they stopped making toys with recycled plastic parts, the plastic decays, falls apart. I know, because a lot of my toys, those little gears, they break, they crack. Oh, okay. I'll go check it out. I'll have to try to open them up from the back and see. But I don't know if I want to do it right now because I've got a movie I have to finish at the moment. On your video, when you took your frog apart, do you show how the inside mount looks? So I know I'm gonna be looking for before I open it, so I don't break it. You would have to check though. They are disconnected. Okay. Are they discontinued? Oh, I know these frogs are discontinued. This is way back in 2004. I bought this guy when I was making Froggy Odyssey. This came out. I don't make that video. Well, I didn't make that video. Oh, you didn't make the video on how to fix it, Froggy? I have to go now. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mo videos for your advice. I'm gonna keep your advice, and I'm gonna go see if I can find some gears in my box. I have to go dig in my garage to see what gears I have, and then I'll go try to fix it. Maybe I'll do it on my live videos and show how I fix the mount movement in here, and maybe because it does still have its lever. You see. And there's nothing broken in here. This gear is still that. I think this the gear, like you said, probably split off the motor. Probably a very simple fix, but it's hard to get inside without breaking all the. I know all the wiring in here. And I started to open it up. You see, I took the zip tie, and then I saw how complicated it was. I had stopped. I didn't want to break it anymore. So what I'm going to do is very carefully open the seam back here and take it off this away so I can get inside here. We'll figure it out. And then I have to very carefully sew it back with the red thread. Well, thank you for your advice. How am I? I'm doing fine. Rocket Fire fan. Did any of you see my animatronic animatronic Apollo 13 dolls I just did the other day? And my Apollo 13, the musical video. Well, right now I'm working on another video, which is part of my Apollo 13 cartoon, way back 70s, that the years that I didn't do animation, the time when I was learning how to animate between 1970 and 1981, when I was learning how to animate. There were a lot of cartoon stories and a lot of cartoon characters that happened in those years with Mr. Big Stuff that I'm starting to make into animation, the stories. I first showed you Embryo. Well, actually, I first showed you Eclipsio, and everybody likes Eclipsio. I guess Eclipsio finally got his debut after 50 years. Well, the eclipses usually come around every 50 years, so it was his time to shine, or blot out the sun, that is. Then I showed you Embryo. Now, Embryo has been animated already, but Embryo started in 1970 along with Mr. Big Stuff. But there is another show with Mr. Big Stuff, another character called Spotty the Fish and his friends. And it was another thing with Mr. Big Stuff and Spotty the Fish, which was another show that I did. And I'm working on that one right now. It's a 2D animation, computer generated, and it's what it would have looked like if I were able to animate this cartoon way back in 1970. I am kind of in the middle of working on it right now, so I'm going to try to see if I can finish it off. So I'm not going to stay on this video long because I'm going to be working on my cartoon. I'm eager to get it done. As soon as I get it done, I'm going to upload it. It's called Biggie and Spotty the Fish Show. The Big Stuff, yeah, it's called The Big Stuff and Spotty the Fish Show. It was a 1970s story, and it was way back in the beginning days when I was doing the Mr. Big Stuff's cartoons, which is Jack Swagget the astronaut. This guy, that guy is over there. This guy. Now, of course, at that time, I didn't put the other two astronauts at that time when I was starting to learn how to animate because I was starting to learn how to animate. So I started with one or two characters just to get the movement right. And I was getting the person. I didn't know enough personality of everybody. I was trying to find the information. I knew Jim was the funny one, and Hayes was always popping the repress valve. But I had to look for more pictures so I could really make the other two astronauts. For some strange reason, had a harder time when I was younger drawing the other two. It took a while until I got better pictures to get them looking better, and they didn't look too good. So that's why I didn't really do Jim and Hayes too much in drawings way back in '70. But they were in the shows, they were in the stories, of course. I didn't leave them out. The reason why I guess I focused on Big Stuff so much or Jack Swagget so much is I don't know. It's just something to do about. And I got the picture. This is a clearer picture to show you. When I got the picture of the astronauts, which was the first picture I got of Apollo 13, which astronaut kind of stands out the most? Just look at the expression on Jack Swagget's face. It was that expression that motivated me to make him. And I didn't realize at that time when I was a kid that this was the astronaut that wasn't supposed to be on the mission in the first place. You see, he was supposed to be on Apollo 14. Humanity was supposed to be there. So he actually was the guy who said, "Why am I here?" And he's the one everything kind of went wrong for. But yeah, he was the smart one to help get the boys home, to fire that burn, to get at the right time. So they got saved 5 hours to get home 5 hours earlier and be on course. He was always the alert one, always first to be the first one. And a lot of people don't realize, but it was Jack Swagget who said, "Houston, we have a problem here." Then Jim Lovell came and said, "Houston, we have a problem. I may be bust underboat." Then, of course, Hayes said, "Well, there was a loud shudder associated with a caution in the morning there." See, I know my boy's voice and words. I studied them so many times, so many years. So, but and also when Apollo 13 came home during the blackout, when it was 2 minutes past the time, and they didn't think if they made it back home again, the first voice was Jack Swagget. He said, "Okay, Joe." So he's always the alert one. The reason why is because he was a command module pilot. People don't realize how important the command module pilot is to the Apollo mission. A lot of people, they always look at the captain and look at the co-pilot of the LEM and the moonwalkers, so to speak. that hardly talk about what the importance of the command module person. Do you know the command module person astronaut is the most important astronaut in the whole entire mission? He's the one that has to keep track of all the guidance, keep track of all the consumables, all the to make sure they stay on the right course, to make sure that they rendezvous when they come off the moon, to rendezvous back and bring them back home. I mean, if it wasn't for the command module pilot orbiting around the moon, they're the two moonwalkers won't be able to get off the moon and come back home. They have to rendezvous. He has to know how to, plus he's the one how to get the limb out of the holder, the third stage, so that they were able to bring it with them to the moon so they can go on the moon. But unfortunately, they didn't make it on the moon, but usually in a normal mission, that is what they do. So the command module pilot is very important. His job is an important job. Let's put it this way. You got to have the right stuff to do the mission. And his nickname also was Big Jack because he was the tallest astronaut. But Big Jack, the big, and put the right stuff to start to get the mission going. And you got Mr. Big Stuff, and that's where the name Mr. Big Stuff comes from. And the funniest thing, a week later after I made a cartoon on him, the song Mr. Big Stuff came out. Chances of those, wow. So that's just funny how that works. Nancy, that's why Jack Swagger got to be in a lot of stories and why he's the most popular one in the cartoons. Did you ever get to meet Jack Swagger before he died? No, unfortunately, I did not. Out of fact, you know when I found out he died? It wasn't until 1995 when I made that stupid movie that they made him out to be where he wasn't. No, not 95. 19. Was it 95? Yeah. Was it 85? No, 80. No, 85 was I did the other one. Yeah, 95. That was right. I got the right thing. You know why 85 is when I did the or was it 95? I'm don't mind me. My dyslexia is going. my brain did that. But all I know is when I found out that he passed on, I was sad. I did. He actually passed on the year after I made the first animated movie called Alignment, the very first video that I did of Jack Swagger. I did not know. My boyfriend too, the one, my fiance, he was battling cancer also. And he liked the Jack Swagger. He liked my cartoons. And I found out before the movie came out about Jack Swagger. And he was going through cancer. And it was like so sad that time. And it was the worst time to find out that my favorite astronaut passed on. I didn't know about it. And my boyfriend was fighting for his life too at the same time. Yeah, it was a sad time. I was very heartbroken when I found that out. And being in New York, nobody cared about Apollo 13. Nobody even mentioned them. There was no information. That's why I did not know. It was like, huh? I didn't even know he was running for being a candidate in the Republican Party. I didn't even know that neither until later on, 25 years later. It was like, if it wasn't for Jim Marvel writing the book on the Lost Moon book, and me starting to find magazines when I was working on my cartoon in 94. Yeah, it was 94. I was right. 94. I wouldn't have known all that. So, that's how it was. That's why when I first started out the Apollo 13 cartoon, I didn't make the original story in the very beginning. I made up stories with them. And I figured when the 25th year was coming, I kept saying when I was a little kid at 11 years old, I was 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. And I said, nobody's going to make a movie on Apollo 13. I'm going to. So I was trying to find information, and I did not know. And I didn't even know about Swagger dying neither. I had no way of knowing because in New York, nobody cared about Apollo 13. Every time there was a show on TV about space, they always talk about Apollo 11 and the other. And 13 comes around, they only mention. They say, I didn't make it to the moon. That's what I said. It wasn't until Jim Lover wrote the book. And you know what? I want to let you know something. I met Jim Lover and I met Fred Hayes. I'll let you know something about Jim Lovell. Jim Lovell wanted to write a book on the Apollo 13 mission way back when way back maybe a year or two after the mission. Jack Swigert was still alive. He was trying to get along with Jack Swigert together to write the book along with Fred Hayes, and they wanted to write the book then, way back then, but nobody had an interest. And that's what happened. And I guess when the 25th year was approached, Jim said, okay, nobody's going to write about my story. I'm going to go and write it myself with my friend. When they got together and they wrote the book. I wish Jim would have wrote that book way back in 1974 when he was going to write it. Then I would have had the information. Then I would have made my movie way back then, because I was learning how to animate by then, and I would have had a movie on the Apollo 13 mission. It wouldn't be as perfect as the one I recently made, but because the animation, as I go along, I learn better. But it would have had a movie that I could show you from way back then when I first made the cartoon. And then I would have made another one in 85, and then I would have made another one now in 2002, and it would have been wonderful if I only had the information way back then. But that's what happened. And it would have been nice because we would have had Swigert's full side, showing that he is the one who Tober argued for 2.5 hours with Mission Control about firing the burn at a certain time as they were coming from the back, doing an early burn first as they're going around the moon to speed up the path. And then instead of firing as they're coming from the backside of the moon, as they get out from the backside of the moon to fire the burn again, and then shut everything down sooner so that they could get home 5 hours earlier and their consumables will last longer. And because of that maneuver, they had enough and they got home safe. It was this guy who wrote the book of what to do when things go wrong. That was his job when he was in Mission Control. He wasn't playing around as a playboy with girls and this and that and the other thing that they show in that stupid movie. And he wasn't a dumb astronaut either, like they show in the stupid movie. No, he's a smart boy. he was the one who wrote the book of what to do. He made a special manual actually during the time of Apollo 11 when they were doing the first lunar landing, when they were first going to the moon. He was writing this book. And he was saying, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? He was figuring out in simulators and all. He was he's a smart mathematical genius. That's what he is. He's big stuff. He had the right stuff. He knew what he was doing. He wrote this book. All we knew was what to do. Actually, he's the one who showed Mission Control about the free return trip. In cases where we knew they had to get back fast, how to do a slingshot fast back. How they would get home fast. If anything happened on Apollo 11, they had to immediately go back home. Of course, that was using the big main engine, descent engine on the command module, service module. But see, Jack Swigert may have did all this stuff, but he never planned that to have all the. See, he was trained and he learned how to accomplish things with having one fuel cell die and maybe one oxygen tank, or maybe two fuel cells die and one oxygen tank, but he was never trained or figured out what to do when all three fuel cells and both oxygen tanks went out. He said in one of his lines, if anybody threw that at me in a simulator, he would say, come on, you're not being realistic. But he figured out ways to figure out this stuff. So he was a bright, smart astronaut. And my cartoon gives honor to Jack Swigert. Jack Swigert deserves an honor. And I am so glad that in his state, they got a statue of him up. And they give him his honor that he deserves. He's not the dumb that the stupid movie shows him out to be. Nope. He's a smart boy. He's my big stuff. And I want everybody to know that. That's my big stuff. And it'll always be. And those who are the parents of this wonderful man, yep, he is my big stuff. And so, that's in my cartoon, he'll always be alive and funny and silly and always getting into problems and situations. So that's my little thing about Jack Swigert. Fred Hayes and Jim Lovell, sure know that too. Matter of fact, I'm waiting for them to write back to me on Facebook. Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, where are you? Waiting for you to write back to me. I know you guys are busy, maybe because you're celebrating. You're trying to get back. I know this coronavirus screwed up your celebration. I'm very mad about that. I wanted to see what we see, but at least you did stuff. But yeah, you guys should be on that now. This is going away. Maybe we'll give you that big celebration you're supposed to have. Maybe a year later, maybe the 51st year. Probably when you're gonna do it. Oh, I know, guys. I celebrate you all. You're my boys. You're my cartoon boys. See, I'm not the mommy to the real astronauts, but I'm the mommy to the cartoon. So don't get me wrong, okay? I'm just telling you, I'm the cartoon of the Apollo 13 astronauts are my babies. But of course, these guys are their parents' babies. Just want to let you know that when I clear it up, when I say they're my babies, I'm actually talking about my cartoon that I made 50 years ago when I was 11 years old. Like I said, I didn't have kids of my own, but I do have cartoon characters. My favorite and best, who has proven through the years, still going strong after 50 years, is the Apollo 13 astronaut cartoon. Out of all the cartoons I created, they're the ones that stood strong through all the years. Yep, like this old picture here. This is the original. You see, it once did look like this. To show you how time changes things. Well, of course, this is my boyfriend. That was my Barry. See, Barry liked the Apollo 13 astronauts too. So I got a picture of Barry. I copied. Actually, this picture of Barry, I came home the day when I met Jim Lovell in person for the first time. When I came home from the restaurant, that's why he's so happy here. He was happy for me that I got to meet Jim Lovell. And actually, he helped me do the phone calls to get back to the person, talk to the person to get me the interview with Jim Lovell. I don't know what Barry did, but he persuaded the people for me to have that moment with Jim Lovell. And that was wonderful. And when I came back to him, we were at a restaurant, and he was so happy for me that I got to meet him. My face was like, and I told him about it, and this is what we were eating, we were celebrating. And then, of course, I put in the back the picture of Apollo 13 on the back of the same picture, so it kind of as a memento of that wonderful day. when I meet Mr. Jim Lovell. And then, of course, when I went to Florida 20 years ago, I got to meet Fred Hayes. And I had a half an hour with Fred Hayes because I got there early. And he was there, and I sent him a copy of my cartoon. And I went to him, and he was used to work at I think Grumman. I mean, he it didn't really get to him, but the secretary sent it to his house. He got this cartoon in the year 1985 when I sent it out to him. And when I got to the place and I saw him, I said, "Hi, Fred Hayes. I don't know if you know me, but I'm the one who sent you that cartoon I made of you, the Apollo 13 Legacy Lives On." His eyes opened up like, "You're the one who made it?" And then he immediately spent that half an hour with me and we talked. And he gave me pictures of him and we were talking, and he autographed things, and I told him about the story and all, and him too didn't like the way he was portrayed in that movie. Why would they do that to poor Fred Hayes? He grew up. Yeah, that happens. Anybody who eats steak and eggs breakfast in the morning and is nervous and is going to be blasted off into the moon, chances of that can happen with a gravity change. It's a natural, normal thing. Why would they want to expose that embarrassing moment on a screen? That's the horriblest moments of Apollo 13 to expose. And then the thing with the urine containers floating around. That was so gross. But when they showed Jim Lovell pulling out the frozen hot dog in the movie, he went clunk, clunk, dog. And he stuck it back in the thing and duh. That's not what Jim Lovell did. You know what Jim Lovell did? Took the hot dog out, looked at the guys, clunk, clunk, sounds tasty. They ate it. Well, you do. When I was a kid, I used to love to eat frozen hot dogs. I'm sure a lot of you did. I read the book Lost Moon. See, if they said that movie was based on the book of Lost Moon, they would have put that scene in there. Clunk, clunk, sounds tasty. Then they would have put the other scene, too, that was in the book of Lost Moon. When Jim Lovell was looking outside the window to see what was venting, and he wiped his window and he looked, and he said, And then he went to Fred Hayes' window and wiped, and he went to, hey, Fredo, the same cloud of junk I had next door. Why didn't they put that line in the movie? And there's another one. When they splashed down in the ocean, and then they finally got home, Jim Lovell looked at Jack Swigert and Fred Hayes and went, fellas, we're home. And he said in enthusiasm. Also, when he saw the service module for the first time, his first words were like, I don't know. And there was one whole side of that spacecraft missing. He had a loud boom to his voice. The movie went, and hello. And there was a whole side of the spacecraft missing. Why, behind you? He was like falling asleep. He wasn't even enthusiastic. The writers of that movie did not make the astronauts out to be what they were, honestly. And Jim Lovell himself, when I met him in person, said, I asked him the question, Jim Lovell, how do you like the way they portrayed you in that movie? He went, that's not me. He also said, well, that's Hollywood. Fred Hayes didn't even give me a remark. He looked at me like, you got to be kidding. Not really. They had him like, oh, I'm so hungry I can eat a horse. You know why they said that in the movie? They always say Fred Hayes is a glutton, because he always went in the food dog. He always goof around with the food. He always liked to get something to snack on when he was in the mission. And then later on, there was an interview video when Fred Hayes was very fat, and he looked very puffy and fat. The guy must have saw that video, because I had that video. And I wondered why he was so fat. I didn't know. I didn't say anything. I figured he was happy. He was happy. He probably was annoyed, but he was an astronaut anymore, so he was enjoying his life. But when I saw him in person, I found out why he was fat. And that even angered me more when they made him out to be a glutton in the movie. Do you know that Fred Hayes almost died in a plane crash? I think it was in that video came, I think, in 1994 when I was making Apollo 13, The Legacy Lives On. There was a video that was on TV showing Fred Hayes like that. And no, it wasn't 94, but they showed videos of Jack Swigert. So that's why I thought Jack Swigert was still alive, because this video came out in 94. And it showed Jack Swigert laying down in a capsule talking. And he was doing an interview And I got that video, and I'm trying to find them in my room apart to try to find that video so I can put it online. Because Jack Swagger will tell you about what was going on, and you'll see Fred Hayes, what I'm talking about. And of course, Jim Lovell was on there because he's on everything. Jim Lovell, he doesn't need an announcement. He's on everything. He's everywhere. This guy. He's the only astronaut in history that's been with the Apollo 13 of the Apollo program from the Gemini all the way to Apollo. Fortunately, I'm sad for him that he was never able to get his wish to walk on the moon. He would have been the first man on the moon if he didn't get bumped behind. I think because of Belly Rubin or something. He had a see if people would have read the book Lost Moon, they would have found that out too about Jim Lovell. He had a cold. It was a week before the getting ready for the test to go for one of the missions, and he almost got bumped. He got bumped. I don't remember. I tried to remember. I don't forget. This is 25 years ago. I read this. By memory. There was one thing that set him back. It's because he had Belly Rubin in his stool sample. Belly Rubin is an end product that will get into your stool and you get those dark stools after you have a cold, as your body antibodies are fighting off a cold or an infection. And that little cold and infection. See, astronauts have the top health to go on to a mission. They can't send any. That's why Kim Manley couldn't go because he was exposed to the German measles. Astronauts have to be completely quarantined and completely physically good health. They can't have any signs of recuperating from a disease because they felt that his body's too weak now because he had to fight that cold. So that's why the movie was crazy. Also, they showed them drinking and getting high before they go on a mission. Come on, Dad, they in quarantine 2 weeks before they go on in space. They don't even be with their families. They're like us when we had with this coronavirus, and they got to be separated away from other people so you don't get a disease. And I'm telling you that movie is so backwards and wrong. And the beginning of that movie is not true. Not one bit of that movie was true in the beginning. As Apollo 11 were walking down the moon, as Armstrong was walking on the moon and all, the movie showed Jim Lovell, Jack Swagger, Fred Hayes partying in Jim Lovell's house, which never really happened, with all their families and friends, looking at the TV, getting high, getting drunk, doing all that usual Hollywood junk and gobble-a-goo. Do you know that Jim Lovell, Jack Swagger, and Fred Hayes were working probably behind the scenes? I know Jim Lovell was there. Behind the scenes in mission control, because always the backup crew to the crew that's going up, or the crew before, usually the astronauts are in the training, in the mission control area, watching the mission that's happening, so that they are trained to see what's going on, what they're going to experience. And they're at the consoles working. Jim Lovell was coaching Aldrin down the ladder because they were buddies. They were the Gemini. They were one of the Gemini missions. They went around the moon. They were together. They did the Gemini. They did the rendezvous and everything. And Jim was coaching his buddy down the ladder, and that was so. The buddies were Armstrong and all. They all know each other. They're buddies. All the astronauts work together. They're all there. That wouldn't be doing the. They all be at mission control. That's what they do. They all have their jobs. They're working men. I mean, really, come on. That's why Jim Lovell said, hey, that's Hollywood. You know what they should have put? If they read the book Lost Moon, they should have put the part in the beginning of the movie where Jim Lovell was flying a plane at one of his trainings. And he rigged up this little mechanism to be a light pass so he could read his maps at night. That actually shorted out his cockpit light. And he almost crashed because he had to fly this plane at night with no navigation and that, because all his systems shut down because that silly light he made. He made a light so he could see things, but yet the light blotted everything out. And it wasn't for the Lord, for his wonderful creation of making a certain kind of algae that glows in the dark over the water, that helped guide him back to a safe landing, he would have never made it. Now, why did they not put that story in the beginning of the movie instead? You would have really had a good movie. I mean, really, they didn't read the book Lost Moon. Evidently, they did not. And they did not listen to a word Jack said. I mean, definitely did not listen to anything that they read about Jack. Or what Jim said about Jack, or what Fred Hayes said about Jack. They talked to Fred Hayes and Jim Lover for hours, and they made that kind of movie. They didn't even get their personalities right. They should have known their personalities by talking to them. They wanted to dramatize it in Hollywood. That's what they wanted to do. And all that cursing, unnecessary. If you would listen to the original audio of the Apollo 13 astronauts, they were calm. They didn't fight each other. They worked together as a team. And they were funny. Funny from the beginning, funny to the end. And they got home, and they still were being funny. Now, going back to Fred Hayes' airplane crash, he was a test pilot, of course. We all know that. He's a daredevil. He flew a plane that didn't work out right. He had a crash. Half his body, all his skin was burnt off his body. He almost died, but he prayed to the Lord for he told his whole story. Half his skin was off. They had to rush him to the emergency room, and they had to graft and cover half his body. They had to cut pieces of skin off him to graft it and grow skin. Now, what a person has got to be reskinned with their own skin and grafted, and skin being replaced with, because they had to scrape all the burnt stuff. Picture this poor guy, half his body burned, and they had to scrape all, and he's in pain. Yeah, scrape all that burnt skin off, all that burnt tissue. Put chemicals like formaldehyde and alcohol and you name it. I can only imagine the pain that the poor Fred Hayes had. And when he told me this story, I was crying in tears. I was like watching him talking about it. And I'm looking, and I met him in person. I see a scar on his face. I couldn't understand. It was a miracle. God bless the doctors that did a miracle in Fred Hayes. Because if you didn't know that about Fred Hayes, you would have never known that about Fred Hayes. But you knowing that from me, who saw it happen and seeing him and talked to him, you could always ask him about his plane crash. He'll tell you. And when he went through, of course, he had to gain weight and get fat on purpose, stretch whatever remaining skin he had so that they can cut off and graft and grow more skin. Because that's what they do. When they reconstruct you, they got to keep grafting you. And it took 6, 7, 8 months of pain and hundreds of surgeries before Hayes had to go through to have that accomplished. But praise the Lord for the skillful hand of those doctors, the saving and Fred Hayes. God bless them all. You would never known that. So that is why Fred Hayes did not like that movie. Want to know more? I'll tell you more. Okay, 8092 gear. Thank you for showing me that. My mommy is the same way, but it's Ames. I don't know what that is. Jack's Weber. Did you ever get to meet Jackson? I'm reading what you guys wrote now. How is the Rocket Fire show going? What are you talking about? The little one? I gave a set of that to Aaron. He sold it already. But again, I say I didn't really make hardly any money on the project, so I'm not going to do that anymore. Don't have the money to make anymore. It's too expensive. But it cost like $500 to make the thing, and a year's hard work. And then I got back $750. You figure out how much I made? Nothing, Holly. So it doesn't pay for me to make that stuff anymore to sell. I'm sorry for the loss of your boyfriend. Did he work with you on your cartoons? No, he didn't. He didn't know how to do it. He was sat there for hours watching me paint all the pictures. Actually, I went to his house a lot of times, work with me, because he had this large table, and he would set me up in his living room on his big large table, and I would pull all the cells out to dry. Because when they paint hundreds of pictures, you have to paint one color, change the cell, get the next cell, paint the next cell, take the next. So I did like all one color on each cell, and I keep going. And he helped me move the pictures around as I was painting them. He would have liked to have painted, but he didn't know how. He was afraid to paint it. He would have messed it up. So he was like watching me. We were talking as I was painting the pictures, and we had some good fellowship time together. And he couldn't believe he actually couldn't believe how the cartoon comes to life. He saw it being made. He saw me drawing all the pictures. He watched me doing it, and then he was eager, and it was on his birthday. Well, actually, it was on his. Was it? Usually on his birthday, I always premiere a movie. But the Apollo 13 movie I premiered in April because I was working on it to get it out on the actual day, April 11th. We had a big celebration on Apollo 13 Day. We always celebrate Apollo 13 Day. We would get together, and I would show the movie. I showed him the movie when it was done. He was excited. He loved the movie. And then after I showed him the movie. We went to the planetarium, and we had time. Then we had a dinner together. It was fun. Because he saw me finally finish the movie. And then a couple of months later, you know what? They didn't even get the date right when they released the movie. The movie came out. When did the movie come out? September or something? If you're making a 25th anniversary movie of Apollo 13, shouldn't have been out in April. Mine was a hand-painted, hand-drawn, handmade, animated, single-frame animated cartoon, which took me a long time. I never researched so hard. It took me so much time to just do all the research and get all the dialogue right on that movie that it did to actually make the movie. I had looked through tons and tons of footage they got from NASA. They gave me free usage of footage, and I put like Kirstie and NASA in it and some of the dialogues and all. I listened to lots and lots of tapes and audio and thousands of books and magazines and stuff I finally found and went through everything to make sure I got everything right. Wish I had more information. I have all the stuff I need now. Actually, when I was 11 years old, there is a movie I want to make on Apollo 13. And this is going to be the ultimate one. It's going to be called Journey into the Odyssey. I'm going to try to see if I can get this professionally done. It's going to be a fully lifelike CGI, fully animated, three-dimensional, done in 3D vision, animated cartoon using the actual real faces and real audio of the original Apollo 13 astronauts, done in a way that makes you feel like you're in the spacecraft with them, experiencing the ride with them, and seeing what they see. It's called Journey into the Odyssey. Then you're going to feel like you're going to be down into mission control and looking at mission control. Now, this was my idea as an 11-year-old kid. Way back before they even had 3D and all this other kind of stuff that they got today. Ain't it amazing that I figured that out way before they even came up with the stuff? Yeah, so I just want to get this movie done. This is the real movie I want to work on. Hopefully, I get some people. And this one has to be done with professionals to help me out. I don't have any money, and that's the problem. I need somebody that will be honest, willing to help, and do this not really for the money. I want the money to be the least thing. That no fight over money. It's to honor the astronauts themselves and to put them into the right light that they deserve for all the world to see. That is the main focus of the movie. And to give God the ultimate credit for giving these boys the wisdom, the knowledge, giving Mission Control the wisdom, the knowledge, making it all work, making sure the equipment worked right. The power of prayer, the people on the earth uniting together as one, as a whole world at that moment. When Mission Control did all it was able to do, and the astronauts did all they were able to do, and the equipment was stretched to the max and did all it was able to do, it was the last crucial seconds, the last crucial 2 minutes of the mission. That's where the power of prayer, the whole world united as one, where the Lord's gentle hand, He heard the prayer of the people, heard the cry of the people of the world cared for the sanctity of life, which life is very valuable. He heard the prayer and He welcomed that prayer, that message. And He's the one who helped make sure the astronauts were guided home perfectly and made a pinpoint perfect splashdown. He's the one who gave the knowledge to Jack Swigert when to do the burn to get them home just in time. If it weren't for him being aboard on that ship, who knows what would have happened to Fred Hayes, Jim Lovell, and Kim Manley. You see, the Lord allowed it to happen for a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. Well, my dog is starting to make a noise, and I'm going to have to leave now, too, because I got to work on my next movie. And I just wanted to let you know all about that. I actually came on to talk about seeing what to do with this froggy here to get fixed. And I see a couple people writing back to me. So maybe when I get some time, I'm going to fix it. Got to find those gears and things I need. I got a box in the garage with tons and tons of stuff. Maybe I have those in a box. I just have to look for it. But boy, oh boy, it's been a day. Well, I got to get working on Spotty the Fish. Big stuff in Spotty the Fish show. So my next video will be that coming up. So look, see in about a week or two, and it will be up. Until then, this is RG Jubilee saying Roger and out, and have a great day. Bye.